If making friends feels impossible or every social situation makes you painfully uncomfortable, pay close attention to this. The first thing you need to do is let go of the belief that being social is hard. That story is often just a defense mechanism we use when we don't have the connections we want. And no, being introverted is not the issue. Believing you're not interesting enough is also nonsense. The real problem is simpler. You were never taught how to communicate effectively. And honestly, that's not your fault. No one really teaches this stuff. So let me step in and break it down. I'm going to show you how to build friendships and connect with people without pretending to be an extrovert. And you can trust me on this because I didn't always have it figured out either. I grew up doing theater, on stage and on camera, but off stage I was extremely shy. Group settings felt awkward and forming deep, meaningful connections felt nearly impossible. I couldn't figure out why I always felt distant from people. For a long time, I blamed myself, my appearance, my voice, my personality. But looking back, none of that was the real issue. I simply didn't know how to be approachable or personable. Once I realized that, everything changed. So if you're an introvert watching this, let's clear up some of the biggest lies you've probably been telling yourself. First misconception, I'm too quiet. Here's the truth. You don't need to dominate conversations or be the loudest person in the room to make friends. You don't even need to be funny. If you understand basic communication, you can connect with almost anyone. Second misconception, I need to become an extrovert. That's completely false. You don't need to change who you are to build relationships. Introverts are often thoughtful, observant, and incredible listeners. And that's a superpower when used correctly. Third misconception, I'm just boring. Being introverted does not mean you have no personality. Honestly, every introvert I know has something wild going on beneath the surface. You just need to learn how to express your personality in a way that works for you instead of fighting against it. One quick clarification here. Being introverted simply means you recharge by being alone. It does not mean you dislike people. That's antisocial behavior. So let's talk about the communication skills that actually help you connect anywhere. Number 1, ask better questions. Instead of asking, what do you do? Try asking, what's been keeping you busy lately? Instead of, what are your hobbies? Ask, what are you excited about right now? People love feeling genuinely seen and heard. When you show curiosity about someone else, you instantly become more interesting. And it takes pressure off you to constantly talk. But here's the key. Listen properly. Real listening means asking follow-up questions, showing empathy, and reacting with your body language. Face the person, put your phone away, and stay present. And yes, eye contact matters. It's basic communication. If eye contact is difficult for medical or personal reasons, just be upfront about it so the other person doesn't misinterpret it. Honesty clears confusion. Number 2, shift the focus off yourself. This is the fastest way to stop feeling awkward. Stop obsessing over how you look or sound. When you focus on making the other person feel comfortable and valued, social anxiety loses its power. One of the most influential books on this is How to Win Friends and Influence People. The core message is simple. People want to feel important. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to analyze your every move. The cure for self-consciousness is shifting your attention outward. Number 3, share pieces of your own story. Deeper connections require vulnerability. You don't need to overshare, but you shouldn't hide everything either. When someone asks how you're doing, don't default to, I'm fine. Small personal details give others something to connect with. If you struggle to remember things, journaling helps. Reflecting daily improves mental health and helps you remember your experiences. That's how I stopped believing I was boring. My life wasn't dull, I just wasn't talking about it. You have stories, you're just not sharing them enough. Number 4, use the yes and rule. This comes from acting and improv, and it's a cheat code for conversation. In improv, you never shut down what your partner says. You build on it. If someone says, I went hiking this weekend, don't reply with a dead-end response. Say something like, that sounds amazing. Where did you go? You just need to stay curious and keep the flow going. Finally, friendships based solely on shared interests rarely last. What actually sustains relationships is shared values, how you live, what you believe in. Think about honesty, growth, and kindness. When your values align, relationships naturally deepen. This is how adult friendships are built. So if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You are not boring. Being introverted is not a flaw. You just need clearer communication and a few practical skills. Ask better questions. Listen with intention. Be honest about who you are. You're doing better than you think, and you're capable of far deeper connections than you realize. If you've ever walked away from a conversation replaying everything you should have said, or felt your mind go completely blank the moment attention landed on you, this part is for you. Because here's the thing no one really explains. Most people who struggle with speaking aren't bad communicators. They're just operating without structure. You know what you want to say, you just can't always access it under pressure. And that's exactly why I created something that goes beyond generic advice. I built a 2-minute speaking confidence assessment to help you understand how you communicate when pressure shows up and what's actually getting in your way. Not in a judgmental way, not in a fix yourself kind of way, but in a clear, validating, oh wow, that's me kind of way. This assessment looks at things like what happens when you're put on the spot, whether you ramble, freeze, or over-explain, how pressure affects your clarity, and how confident you feel speaking up in meetings, conversations, or presentations. At the end, you'll get a score that reveals your communication pattern, not just a label. You'll see whether you're already confident but want refinement, capable but inconsistent under pressure, struggling to organize your thoughts clearly, or dealing with high communication anxiety. And based on your results, you'll get a clear next step, whether that's a quick tool to tighten your answers or a full system to help your brain stay organized when anxiety kicks in. No guessing, no one-size-fits-all advice, just clarity. If you've been thinking, why do I sound fine in my head but not out loud? Why do I replay conversations for hours? Why do I freeze when I know I'm capable? This assessment will help you finally understand why and what to do about it. You can take the Speaking Confidence Assessment right now. It takes about 2 minutes and it's linked below. Start there. Awareness changes everything.